All righty. We are back. We are back. We are talking about nurses in the news. Corey's favorite subject. Okay. So, what's going on, Corey? Are there any questions in our chat? Um, okay. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. I had an exciting day today. All right. What's going on with nurses in the news, Corey? Well, I'm going to go with my standard answer to that. When nurses want to strike, we have to go to Congress. We need our rate, what is it, nurse patient ratio standards, and we need salary standards, and it needs to be across the board. I To me, striking each hospital and nursing home, to me, is a waste of time because you're going to be doing it over and over again. We just had an instance here in Virginia where the hospitals decided to take back money from the nurses. We're not going to pay you what we were paying you during COVID. We're coming down on our prices, our rates. So Virginia is a non-union state, so we don't have unions here. I have been a nurse at a hospital and tried to organize a strike. Did not go well, because back in those days, they were like, you're not going to be here long if you do that. And it depends. People are not going to. They're talking that they're going to support you, but then they're saying, because these people are going to fire me. So if you're in a non-union state, you might not want to do the striking and what have you. That's why I'm proposing we have to go to Congress. Now, before these people go on strike, I want to know, are they reaching out to their legislation people? You know, are they trying to write bills for nurses and healthcare professionals in the state? Who are they talking to? Who are the decision makers for this? We have to start thinking about how we can get this sustainable instead of striking this hospital, this nursing home, yada, yada, yada. I mean, to me, I want to go to Congress. I want to go straight to Congress and say, we need this. And if you join your American Nurses Association in your state, if you get any nursing organizations, they do lobby. So we have to start lobbying for change. Okay. Um, and they go to Capitol Hill. I'm with the National Black Nurses Organization. They go in February, the first week in February, with the Virginia ANA, which is a nurses association. They go in January to Congress in Virginia, because I used to teach nursing, so we had lobby days. Also in Florida, we have lobby days. Also, and you can also go to Washington D.C. It is so important. You got to get out there and start talking to people who are the decision makers about healthcare. They have committees on just healthcare. And if we start voicing ourselves to them and giving a list of things, and we start agreeing on what needs to be done, we will have improvements across the board. Okay, I think that's important. Next question. Well, number one, you have to know if this is licensed or unlicensed. A person with a disability, that is a licensed group home, and they're supposed to be under inspection at least once a month. So they're supposed to have, and these people are receive training. If you are in a licensed group home, you have to have training. You have to be a CNA, you have to be a med tech, then you have to be LPN, RN. You may have to have an administrator if this is an assisted living facility. So those are some of the things, and also group homes can be very dangerous, especially if you take in people with the mental illness. And I've worked in a mental illness institute. And I mean, it can go from 0 to 360 like that. I'm walking toward a client and I'm like, oh, here's your meds. And the next thing I know, I'm getting a beat down. I'm like, he's swinging. I'm like, I'm falling back. I'm like, what happened? And, luckily, I had been there a little while and the residents all were like, we know that she didn't do any wrong. The residents stepped in and stopped this gentleman from hurting me. So it can change just like that. And it's very dangerous. It's dangerous in a mental health institute, and things can get out of hand. I mean, I have seen some things get out of hand because it's really, like I said, it's so dangerous. I mean, I've seen staff, they're not even putting that on the news when the staff get their jaw broken, their arm broken. I mean, I've seen these things happen to the staff members. I mean, this man hit me in my face. I had a concussion. I mean, oh my gosh, I was in so much pain. I was like, what did you hit me for? And then to make matters worse, they released this person to a group home. So I'm in the mall with my dolls and he's walking by free and clear. And he still remembers. He's like, hi, Miss Brown. I'm sorry I hit you that day. So it's like, so I'm sitting here like, suppose I had this man in my home and he is volatile. This is, so, and I have to defend myself. This man starts swinging on me. So it can be very dangerous. It is very dangerous, like I said. So you have to, have a feeling for this person. When I saw him, I knew he was a little off. I always felt, but I felt he was on a 1-to-1. So I went in his room. The door was right behind me. It was open. He's against the wall. And I'm like, oh, here are your medicine. So I'm thinking I'm safe. And when he walked up to me and knocked the medicines out the way and started beating me, I'm like, okay. And I'm falling back out of the room. And, the security is right there. But he was like, what happened? What happened? And when I fell back, the other residents came in and started beating him, because they were like, we know you didn't do anything wrong. What did he do? He's off. He's been hitting us. So, like I said, it's a lot. It's more to it than just that. And sometimes, I have some staff who have worked in mental institutions and they have PTSD. I have a gentleman who I had one of my clients was in a wheelchair. He has a cast in one arm and his leg is in a cast. But verbally, he's threatening to cut my staff. He's like, I got a knife and I'm going to do something to you. And my staff, this gentleman who was talking in a wheelchair with one broken arm and one broken leg in a cast against the wall, my staff is able to walk in and out of the room. There's nothing, there's a door right there and there's a kitchen right there. He's able to move. He's spazzed out and called 911. And I'm like, why are you calling 911? I can see this person who has a leg in a cast and an arm in a cast cannot hurt you. He might be talking, but he can't physically do anything. Okay. Now there's a difference when somebody got a knife. Okay. They're coming towards you. They swinging. Okay. Now that's a whole different thing than, well, he was talking. He was going to do something to me, but he really can't, So, but this gentleman, he snapped. He's like, I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. I had to make a split decision because he was threatening me. But I said, did he act upon it? So and you have to realize, are these people having PTSD, who work in these facilities? And it goes from 0 to 360. And sometimes, things can get out of hand. It can be very dangerous on both ends for the client and the caregiver. So they need more monitoring. They need to just come by and visit more. Oh, please, honey, I worked in the emergency room. You know how many times I normally get beat down once a year. That was my first beat down in a few years, because I did emergency room for the first 10 years of my career. The second 10 years I taught nursing for 10 years. So it wasn't as dangerous until I took my students in there, but I never had nobody put their hands on me. And then when I finished teaching, I started case management, and I was working mental health, and I was working at the prison. So that was like, oh, I haven't gotten beat in a while. I have 3 children, and I was in the emergency room. My 2 boys, I had been kicked in the stomach with each of my boys. So, by patients. So, like I said, I'm like, wow, I haven't been beat down in a while. It can be very dangerous. Next question. Well, I definitely want to talk about that. I mean, I've had an opportunity to work with the youth. It's too dangerous for me. Okay. In a group home setting, no. Because people, even with the people who have the mental intellectual disabilities, they can be master manipulators. They know their rights. You have to post on the wall. You have a right to say yes or no. You have a right to do this. You have a right to do that. And they will use that against you. Also, because I have people who want to do with intellectual disability patients. And, even though if you have somebody from 18 to 20, 21, and they're out of foster care, they still have to be monitored because they have no one else. But some people don't realize they still can have intimate relationships with other people. Maybe other people they meet on the internet, other people who they've known in foster care. And these people realize they have to have an open door policy, because this is an adult who is 17 to 21 in those what is it called, community living situations, where you have those who've aged out of foster care. And also when you have younger children who are in foster care, it's very dangerous because they know the system. There'd be like, when you have your own children, you discipline them, it's not as bad, especially if you've started them when they were babies. But when you're just getting somebody and they're, 10, 12, 13, 14, they've had other experiences and you don't really know because they give you the bare minimum. And this person, they might start telling lies. This person attacked me. This is going on at night, what have you. And none of these things are really going on. So to me, it's just too dangerous for me. But I know people who love it. And I've had a lot of people who like, oh, let's get a children's home together. Not for me, but for other people, that's fine. But you have to be aware of what's going on. And you might want to spend time in a children's group home and volunteer there and really see what's going on before you put together a group home, because a group home is very expensive. It takes a long time. You have to put all these things together. You got to get all your policies together. You got to hire your staff. Then you have to interview the people who you want to move in, and they have to say they want to move in with you. And one of the things that I didn't like about having licensed group homes is that when a person leaves, you don't have any communication with them. And I'm like, I don't understand why. If I've had this person in my home for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and maybe I don't want to do foster care anymore. Maybe I don't want to, maybe my husband died, my family member is sick, and I can't care for this person. You're not allowed to have any contact with that person. And to me, that is wrong. I just didn't like that system with not being able to have contact. My mom used to be a foster parent. My parents used to be. And we had a little boy. We never knew what happened to him. He left. My mom got pregnant with one of my baby brothers back to back. And she was like, I couldn't handle any more children at the time. So they let him go back to foster care. But it still would have been nice for us to have some way of knowing what's going on, or if this person might needed more services, and we could have, extended that to that person. So those are some of the things, but it's he said, she said, and I don't want to be in a home that I got to have a camera and I'm afraid, it takes special people to want to care for the youth, because you can get into a lot of trouble. And next thing you know, you got to defend yourself and you're innocent. Now, there may be some people who are guilty of neglect, but that has to be proven. I don't want to be in a situation where I have to prove my innocence or guilt, So it just, to me, there are a lot of things that are going on, and it depends on, like I said, they tell you some basic things that have happened to this child, but it's not going to be everything, so it can be very dangerous. But there are people out there who have a heart for it, and I appreciate you, and best wishes. They do have it's called Tovil here in Virginia. If you're a licensed group home, or if you are work in mental health, they teach you TOEFL, and that's how you have to make sure you are near the door. So like when I worked in the mental health services, when I come in, I'm gonna stay at the door. Okay. Even though there's a wall here, the client is in the middle or over there, I'm going to stay near the door in case something happens. I can get out. Okay. Also, they teach you how to block. If someone is swinging at you, it's like you put your arm up to block. You don't beat them back. You block, and you walk backwards, and you get out of the room, and or you get away from them. So it's not teaching you to beat them down. It's more of getting out of the way. And also, you can come from behind them and just hold their arms, where you'll be able to get to safety and make sure they are safe. Okay. Now, some of these videos, I'm seeing people on the floor and they're stomping on people, and they're doing stuff to people who have done things to them. That's not okay. I mean, like I said, I've been in an emergency room. I've had people, I've been choked twice, so I used to wear those reels that you can pull back, and for your badge, it was real cute. I had somebody try to choke me twice. I mean, I don't know why I didn't learn the first time, but it took 2 times of being choked for me to realize I'm not going to wear the reels in the hospital anymore. I had the little clip-on badges. I never went back to reels. I threw all of those things away. They were too dangerous. Also, like I said, I've been, pushed down, knocked under the stretcher, kicked while pregnant with both of my sons. I mean, it's dangerous, so, and I can imagine being at home by yourself with this person, and out of nowhere, you getting a beat down by yourself. That's traumatic, very scary. So, and it would put that person, PTSD. And if this has happened before, they snap, they're in fight or flight mode. It's very dangerous. I hope I answered the question. Well, if it's licensed in this state, they don't want you to communicate. Like I've had some of my clients from my non licensed group home go to a licensed group home, and a licensed person didn't want to talk to me. I was like, well, where are you at? I mean, I can bring the rest of it. They were like, no, he whatever he has, he needs to get now, and that's it. And they were just very nasty. They were like, we're not supposed to talk. You're not. We're not to give you any information about them after they leave. That's it. So I don't know if it's just this state or what it is, but everyone that I have dealt with, when they leave, you're not allowed to communicate with them anymore. And I think that's what's causing a lot of the problems. Maybe they need to be able to have visitors that they've had before instead of just relying on this one person who's new, you know. So just my thoughts. Um, at this point, well, the person who was leaving, they didn't have a phone. So we didn't have a way of communicating with them. And it was nothing that, and was like, well, sorry, you know, I enjoyed you. We had a good time together. And sometimes people leave for various reasons. I had a client who left, and but he was always making up stories. Like he was very nice man when I met him, but I realized why he left his other home. I'll give you a situation. We were outside. I had another gentleman moving into my basement apartment, and I had all veterans. I had four veterans. This man was a veteran, but he had a dog, and he was like, I just got to have my dog. And it was an emotional support dog. I fell for all this crap. Okay. I will never have another pit bull or whatever it was move in. He was the little dog. She was nice for the first 3 weeks, and after that, I couldn't even go in my own basement. That dog would chase me, chase my kids who were working. Oh my gosh, he was a mess. But anyway, the gentleman that I'm talking about who left, we were on the step when the other veteran who with the dog came to my house. The veteran's dog got out of the vehicle, walked down the pavement, and went to the basement. This gentleman swore up and down. The dog came on the porch with us. The dog licked him in the face. The dog jumped on him, attacked him, and I'm like, I was standing here the whole time. It's like you have a vivid imagination. So he's still every time we go somewhere, we're going to the hospital. He's swearing this dog attacked me, and we saw a dog, and the dog did stuff to me. I'm like, man, I was right there. Okay, the dog was on the sidewalk. Okay, nowhere near him. I was right there the entire time. So it was really, like I said, some people can, stretch things, And then he wanted to go, and then in addition to that, we didn't allow him to smoke in bed. No. He also had an issue. He wanted to watch you cook and complain the entire time. He preferred fast food. He was like, fast food, that was the best. He wanted McDonald's, Burger King. He wanted, and let me tell you, he would call 911 on us. And you know why? Because we didn't fluff his pillows. I'm like, it had happened so many times. I was on first name basis with a policeman. I was like, look, and they started coming by just to check on. I said, look, when y'all come over, just bring him some McDonald's. This is what he liked. This Burger King. They'd be like, we just coming by to check on him. And I'm like, he right there. You see, this house is clean, smells good, everything is going well. So, you know, it it was just how he was driving me crazy. So anyway, I don't know. Are you seeing this on my TikTok? Are you able to see me? There's something over it. Yeah, it's not letting you. Oh, you can see me? Okay, because it's saying I have to drag over. Oh, this piece of puzzle. I have to fit this in. I guess they're saying I'm not there. But just giving you an instance where you have a client, he didn't want to take any of his medicines. He got mental health medicines. And I should have known something because I got him from the hospital. But before I could pick him up, he ended up in a mental health institution. I'm like, why is this man over here? And this lady had dogs. She had Rockwilders. And he was telling me, oh my God, the dogs were licking all over. They're jumping on the chair. They're jumping in my bed. And I'm like, he said almost the same thing with my house. So, and this gentleman left. We don't know what happened to him. Um, he went in the hospital for when he would go to the hospital. I would let him stay for almost 30 days because we just wanted a break. And Veteran Services was paying me to take care of him. So, and I started out with a veteran home. I have 4 veterans, and woo, he was very challenging. So eventually he left. I had another veteran. He wanted us to make food every day at a certain time. If it wasn't at 5 o'clock or 5:30, he refuses to eat. I was like, sir, this is an unlicensed home. This is a courtesy. Mind you, this gentleman drives a vehicle. Like, just get up and go drive and buy your food if that's what you want. But it was like, I was like, we go to the food bank 3 times a week. It's a courtesy. He was not even a client. He was just a person, a tenant who paid rent. He was 90 some years old, and he was just set in his ways. He wanted us to bring him dinner at 5 p.m. or between 5 p.m. and 5:30. And if it was not on time, he refused. He was like, I'm going on a hunger strike. And I had this gentleman for over a year. He got tired. He was like, I'm tired. I'm leaving. And he got approved for Medicaid, and they put him in an assisted living facility. And he lasted about 2 or 3 months there. So he just died. I think he left us in October or September, and he died in January. So, and he was like 92, 93 years old. So, so that was one of his complaints, is that, the time of the food. I'm like, of all the things, wow. So those are just some scenarios. All right, we got about 3 minutes left. Any more questions? And nurses in the news. Okay. That's over. Mm. One of the issues that I've seen in the nursing field is you have these older men, and I have this at my group home. I have a man here at my group home with 7 children. And the man who I was talking about with the dog, he has 3 sons. I had these people a year. None of his family came to see either one of them. Okay. A lot of times people don't realize, especially men, that your lifestyle is going to catch up with you. If you have a habit of loving and leaving people and not having a relationship with your children, a lot of times men only talk to the children who they have a relationship with the woman. You know, if they have a relationship with your mother, they'll spend time with those children. If they don't have a relationship with the mother, then they walk away and they have nothing to do with them. This catches up with you when you are in your 60s and 70s or 50s and you start having strokes. You can't take care of yourself. And you start having the high blood pressure, the diabetes, you start having vision issues, hearing disabilities. And these people start realizing they don't have anyone. They like to have platonic relationships. They have never had a relationship with their family member. I have a gentleman now who is a dialysis patient. He's in his 50s. He got 7 children and has no relationship with them. So, you need to let people know your lifestyle is going to catch up with you. Treat people good. Have relationships. If you're having children, slow down. Have relationship with that woman and that child and take some time. Stop bouncing around because this is going to catch up with you. Your 50s, 60s, and 70s, when this sickness starts coming on you, and you're going to realize there's no one there. There's no one there for these people. So, I want people to know that. One of the number one regrets in nursing homes is they didn't spend time with their children or they didn't have children. I have a lot of people who didn't have children and they realized that in the nursing home. Now I was up this morning at 6:00. I had a gentleman's father call me, one of my residents' father called me, and he informed me I've had this gentleman, oh my God, July be a whole year. This man has 2 children. I said, really? Where are they at? I'm like, this man been here for a year. I have never met. I said, how old are his children? 24. I said, 24? He's in his 40s. Okay, you started a little early. I'm like, he has grown children. I was like, I never knew this. For a whole year. This man was hit by a car, uses a walker. He's in his 40s. And he has no relationship with his children. And he bounces around. Even at the group home, he's bouncing around from woman to woman. So, you just gotta, keep talking. I'm gonna address the situation. Like, just heard you have some kids. What's going on? So, okay. And any other questions? Yes, yes. And when I see him this evening, I'm definitely going to go, where these kids at? What you been doing? I'm just surprised, surprised, surprised. Well, not surprised, but it's like I wasn't expecting this. Wow. You know. So those things happen. Well, they have something called long-term care insurance. And actually, I just met with my financial planner the other day, and he was like, "Have you thought about doing long-term care insurance?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was looking into it." I was like, "How much is it?" And I'm expecting 200, 300. He said $600 a month. I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Hold up." I said, "Let me tell you something. Both of my boys just graduated from college over the weekend, last Saturday. Both of them are in pre-med. Okay, that is my nursing home policy right there. So so I said I'm going to scrap that. But if this person has $1 million, I think he might still want to if he doesn't have any foundation or anyone who he thinks will take care of him, he might definitely want to, he could benefit from long-term care insurance. And if he can afford $1 million to save up, he can afford long-term care insurance. I don't think I need it. I have 3 children. I have 2 sons that just finished pre-med, and I have one that's going to medical school in the spring, and one is going to nursing school in the spring. And my daughter is in pre-nursing. So I think I'm good. So, but if you don't, and then also I'm going for my 100% disability, veteran disability. So I already have health care at the VA hospital. And once I get 70% disability, I'll be able to have home care services through the VA hospital. So I think I'm good. And it depends if you're a veteran, please apply. There are companies out there that can help you for free get your veteran disability. Okay. Even though I served during wartime, so I was automatically able to get health insurance right after I finished. We came back from Germany from Desert Storm. But other people, if you have not served in wartime, then you are not able to do the health care at the VA hospital. But you can still get that disability. And there are plenty of services on Facebook, social media that you can talk to them, and they'll be able to help you with your disability paperwork for free. Of course, they're going to take the money on the back end when they, collect. They'll get their half first. But still, you be getting your checks coming in, okay? So just throwing that tidbit out to everyone, okay? And also, group homes are, if you're a nurse or a healthcare provider and you're tired of working at the hospital, you might want to go to a group home, and you might want to open your own group home and see what your niche is. It's the world of nursing and health career are endless, and there's so many possibilities. So get out there and find your niche. Okay. So I would love to talk to y'all more, but my phones are almost dead. I think I have less than 10%. I forgot to charge them. And I had to hook my light up to my laptop. So that's almost dead too. I'm like, okay, so we're almost out. Anything else, Corey? Thank you. And tune in, because the next time I go back to the homeless shelters, I will be there early enough, and I'm going to remember I need to do some interviews and start videotaping so we can start talking about, how people end up being homeless, and you'd be surprised how many people are driving there. I met about 5 people there who like, that's my car right there. I'm like, but you're staying here at night? Yes. The homeless shelters here, they put everybody out at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they can't come back until 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. So when we're able to go out there, everybody was outside, and they were getting they had shower services today, and then they also were giving out free phones. So there were lines and lots of people to talk to. So we're going to go out there again next month, and we want to have a plethora of people, that we can for our people who are interested in group homes and who are interested in clients and our caregivers. And we want to, make sure we're able to provide those services and those leads to those people. Okay. Well, y'all have a good day. On my quickly, my something is dying. Go ahead. Outside, walking around. They go to the library. A lot of people, you'd be surprised how many homeless people are in the library every day. Yes, a lot of people in the library. They go to the Greyhound station. They may go to the mall. They just out walking around. And also, there are a lot of places that homeless people congregate. A lot of times, they know each other. They can tell you what's going on with different people there. So, because I'll be like, okay, do you know this? Do you know this person? And they're like, okay, yes or no. Normally, it's about 50-50 chance they know each other. So that's one of the things that goes on. Okay. But we'll get more into it. Maybe I'll do another segment between now and the next time I go in there. And then, like I said, I'm going to be videotaping and doing interviews so we can do some one-on-ones and talk to people when I go visit them at the homeless shelter. Because I'm excited. I'm going back again, and I want to be able to have more resources for them. Okay? Well, y'all have a good day. All of my stuff is about to die. Y'all have a good day. Thank y'all for Nurses in the News.